right. Oh, look at you, fancy. He's got a button he pushes.
Yeah, see that?
I'm jealous.
I got that as a result of. Oh.
I just gotta go catch up with Ozzy and Lingo and present them theirs.
Cool. Video. Oh. My bad.
See, I literally got that as a result of going on vacation with my wife. And she said, I'm tired of looking like I'm always on vacation by myself because I take my own camera.
Right.
You know, so when we went to, I think when we went to Brazil, she made me get one of these things, and we did a lot. My daughter said, videos your stuff, stop taking photos. So there's a lot of stuff I can do with that now.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, and the remote allows me to put it up.
Yeah,
so I can go
hit
get
the
it.
button.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we start with you guys talking about how you met?
Okay.
Man, when I think about how I met Mwanzo, I think about older days, man.
Okay,
The old instructors, man. And it was during then I think that I actually met, man. But again, I'm not going to challenge my memory, man.
Yeah, well,
somebody,
nothing wrong with that memory because what was happening at that given point in time, I was traveling different locations training out in the park, mostly out in the park. I trained in the school, I trained in the schoolyard, I trained in the park, I trained in maybe a recreation center or two. Ran across this gentleman at 21st and Nichols, still in North Philadelphia. Went over there, talked to him, he invited me back. Next thing I know, I'm in there teaching. But he was supposed to be a black monk. This is what he tried to sell everybody on. But, you know, just eventually you found out he didn't know anything.
Yeah, well, you know, we were
His
young.
reputation preceded him. So, but yeah, that was back in the early 70s. So.
Yeah. I mean,
But like I was explaining in my interview earlier, I lived at 17th and Berks. Church of the Advocate was at 18th and Diamond. Walking distance, 1 block over, 2 blocks down, you know. And I had a very, very, very good friend of mine that I went to school with, junior high school and then off to high school, known as Takufu. Takufu was over there training.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not a martial artist at that time. He's becoming a martial artist at that time because he was over there at 18th and Diamond. And he said, well, you didn't come on by any time. But you know who I was training with at that given point in time in my life? It was a brother named James. And he taught me fencing, which is my martial arts background, you want to say martial arts,
Oh, absolutely.
other than the street stuff that I did. I started fencing in '86.
Fencing teaches great footwork.
It taught me an awful lot, and it gave me some of my foundation for my creation of Vidas. You know, I don't say parry, but a parry is a block.
Yeah,
We
well,
use
yeah.
that.
I've explained those two things differently. A block, you put something in front of a parry, you move it out the way. That's how I explain it.
And that was my foundation when it comes to a martial arts and a martial arts system, was in my fencing. But before all that was nothing but my street combat that I had to have when I was surviving out there from where I was at, when I was at 17th and Berks and there was GTO there. When I was at 21st and NARS, there was NARS Street Gang there. When I was at 25th and 25th and, let's say, Montgomery, where there was the Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm naming major gangs in Philadelphia.
Yeah, well,
that
you know,
whooped on me.
brother, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, and because he just mentioned some places I'm very familiar with. I grew up in 29th and Diamond, which is not far from Church of Advocate, but I had to cross Sedgley Avenue
To get there.
and that's going into what was known as Valley territory.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always had to if you couldn't hold, this is a saying in the city, if you can't hold your hands,
Mhm.
you're gonna get your ass whooped.
Yeah, there you go. There
You
you
know
go.
what I mean? So you had to hold your hands. You know, it's that simple. So a lot of us, man, was brought into the martial arts. And myself, I went to the PAL, and I was there when Joe Frazier came in. You know what I mean? First day Joe
Wow.
Frazier, he speaking.
Yeah.
He was from Beaufort, South Carolina, so he spoke Geechee. So we was like, this guy from. Before long, he knocking everybody out in the gym.
Yeah. And to speak of Joe Frazier, I trained in Joe Frazier's gym. He allowed us to come in there and do a kickboxing thing and train there for a few months, free of charge.
That was the gym under the bridge on Broad
Yeah,
Street.
yeah,
that
that's
was
the
a nice
one that
gym,
should
man.
be historical.
It should
be
be.
a historical sign,
It should be.
and they should not have turned that into a furniture store.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what it is now, and you know that was the world's champ. You got a Rocky statue over there, but you don't have a Joe Frazier statue
exactly.
down
Until
here.
they just put it up a little while.
Yeah, just more recently.
Yeah.
Not the Rocky statue been here, but that's off the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say you lived over there at 29th and Susquehanna,
29th and Diamond. That's where
and
I grew up,
Diamond,
yeah.
I lived on 28th and Diamond. I lived at 29th and Susquehanna. I did a lot of moving around,
Yeah.
and I heard Saifullah say he was in that same area, but I don't know why we didn't know
Yeah,
each other, even though you just a few more years older than me during that period. But we should have crossed
Yeah,
paths
yeah.
some kind of way back in the day, because I remember going into or maybe like 67, I was around 28th and Diamond.
Yeah, well, I was in the Marine Corps there
Yeah.
at that time. I was in the Marine Corps.
I was there, so you was overseas doing something that I didn't want to go do,
Good
because
for you.
when I went to high school, they were drafting people
Oh, yeah.
left and right. You had no choice but to go to Nam
Yeah.
as soon as you got out of school, and I didn't truly want that for myself. Not that I was a coward
No,
or
I ain't got to be
anything.
a coward, brother.
It's
Not at
just
all.
that I didn't feel the need to go over there after learning. All my friends who went over there didn't come back normal. And when I say they come back with missing limbs. They came back as alcoholic, more so drug addicts, eyes missing, limbs missing, and you want to send me over there?
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna talk about it now, and that's another discussion. But relative
Yeah.
to the martial arts, man, my last duty station was Quantico. So I got out of Quantico, and then as continued in Taekwondo, I actually met Furman Marshall, who was a
Awesome.
brother back down there.
Awesome,
He was
yeah.
a former Marine, and I was running with this guy to one of the June Reed schools. We go over there and train. So I still was trying to keep that Taekwondo thing that I was learning. I learned Taekwondo, some Taekwondo with them, with the Marine Corps, with the South Korean Marine Corps Army. And then when I was stationed in Spain is when I got into some Hapkido with Master Shin. I think it is. Or Shin was I'm gonna say Shin. I might be wrong. But I think it's Shin, man. I had to look. But coming back to Philly and dealing with African martial arts, and Mwanzo, a lot of the students that trained with me may have stopped their training. Because again, I had to continue to get in that truck,
And
get on
drive.
that road and drive.
Yeah.
It just keep putting brakes into my teaching that I would have liked to do,
Right.
but wasn't able to do because my bills wasn't being paid. And I mind, like, I see, man, the cat opened the school up in the same spot and it's still there. Still there.
Yeah, he has
You
the
know.
oldest martial
It's got
arts
to be.
school in one location
Yeah.
out of everybody else's
Absolutely
school in
Philly.
Philadelphia.
Yes, no doubt.
And probably Pennsylvania,
Yeah, I
as much as I know, because I travel around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the oldest school in one location, and I am so proud of him for that.
Yeah, one of the things I also remember, like, I said I didn't compete a lot, but I competed a few times under the banner of African martial arts and got that kind of negative feedback from
the community.
Yeah, I don't
They
want
was
to say
very political back then.
I don't want to
'cause
say
I'ma
the
tell you how
Asian martial
political
arts
it
community.
was.
I'll say the traditional martial arts.
Yeah,
You know,
Because I had to fight that.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And Mwanzo did a much better job at fighting it than I did. He stayed in there, which I admire him for that, because without that on the tournament circuit, it would never have been.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I can tell you here as a witness that when this brother walked in, everybody else started vying for second place. They already succeeded him. All right, well, Mwanzo here now. Who gonna be second?
Yeah.
And they was right. Most of the time, they was right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what put, because I was in a discussion. I was living in New Orleans, and I was teaching African Institute martial arts, and I was running a bookstore called Al-Kibulan, which
Yeah.
means Land of the Blacks, African bookstore. So I was teaching classes at Delgado, Southern University, and up in the 9th Ward, where the dam broke, 3 blocks from where I was teaching at one time when Katrina happened. You know, so I was teaching that neighborhood again in the recreation center. You know, and it was a international day. So the guy says, "Oh, he came out." So the kids came from the school, Southern University, and they came to the bookstore, and they said, "Oh, you know, we're gonna have international day. We look for some African stuff, right?" So I said, "All right, well." Now I'm the worst businessman ever been on planet Earth. I took all the stuff out of there. Now I only know 2 rhythms with the Kuma, 168, 144. That's all I knew. You know, I brought in drums, artifacts. We set the stage up because a person had came out and said, "Well, let's go to the beginning of civilization," and I took issue with that.
Yeah.
You know, and brother, I laid it on African martial arts, everything, and I had a sister showed her 1 or 2 moves for the sisters, and it was a huge success, man. You know, with the African martial arts, I had the red, black, and green belt.
Yes,
And
yes.
kids really thought it was something else, man. So I look at those kind of things, having that martial culture attitude towards presenting. Hey, wait a minute, what do you mean to get into civilization? Hey, yeah, wait a minute. So I just had to challenge that, and I was glad I did. And in the traditional martial arts competition scene, because Vidassana, as I taught Vidassana Teiki and Yumi, in our philosophy, it's target recognition,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Target acquisition. You see the target, bang, then you hit it. So it's eye-hand contact. You want your theory. The theory is just that. Target, acquired. I know that's military talk.
Yeah.
Target recognition, target
But that's
acquisition.
what combat is all about.
And exactly.
So,
You know, and so your targets only change if there are rules.
Yeah.
You know, and no hit to the groin. Oh, man, you weigh 300 pounds. You know, but the groin of a 300-pound person has no more resiliency than a 100-pound person.
Absolutely.
So it's all
Absolutely.
naturally notified. And again, I want to point out again that when African martial artists started to be in a lot of these tournaments, they were like, man, without that, it wouldn't be as recognized as it is today. And Ace Daniels, who competed tremendously, man. Hell of a fighter. Should
In
be.
the magazines.
Yeah.
On various people's tongues. You say, how's Wally Moore? He's doing good.
Mhm.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He might not be looking like he's out there anymore, but his reputation still
Yes.
precedes him.
Yeah.
And he's still conquering and doing stuff on a level that's outstanding. And he came originally out of the Institute of
Right.
African
Right.
Martial
He came.
Arts.
He was 14 years old, man.
Yes,
He came down
yes.
there, you know?
Before I got a hold of
Yeah.
him, he was in the Institute of African Martial
I had to
Arts,
go on that
along with
road.
Wally Moore Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And not even to mention to Kufu.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like I said, that was a childhood
That was,
friend of
you
mine.
had a place for them to go when I had
Yes.
to take my behind back on the road, man. I appreciate that. Love you for that, man.
I just love
Yeah.
doing what I do, but I appreciate walking in the door the first time I seen y'all. First time I seen Saladin, Cartoon, Changa Chukurio, and they were kicking in combat moves.
We was rough, man.
Man! And then you're talking about free the people, the same concept that I had, somebody else was doing it.
And to your credit, and other brothers like brother God bless his soul, love be pleased with his journey, brother EA out of Detroit. These are other brothers who were doing African martial arts.
And I spoke on that.
Infodishi Masai and those brothers
He's
up
up
North
in Newark.
Jersey.
He's in Newark.
Yeah.
Yes, and I
So we was coming
touched
along that
bases
same
with his
way.
son maybe about a month ago. So he's not the best in health, but he's doing all right. He's still here with us.
Yeah, well, we spend chickens no more.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had that idea. And it's funny how it had that root, man. Because Steve Muhammad was you know how he faced a whole lot of discrimination
in the
with
California.
the traditional martial arts.
Yeah, and that's why he started the Black Karate Federation.
Right.
And not only to mention that, Steve Muhammad is responsible for giving Bruce Lee some of his handwork that Bruce Lee does.
Well, hey, listen, and I must say, and I have to say this in my Bruce Lee voice, because this is a story that actually attributes what he used to say, which is absorb what is useful, discard what is not. Right? So,
Absolutely.
so, and he did that. He took stuff from Muhammad Ali, his footwork. You see it in Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones. In Game of Death, you see it. All that from Ali. He says it. He says he got it from Ali.
Yeah, most definitely.
And that's it, man. Because again, I probably people probably hear tired of hearing me say, but you can't own a technique.
No.
Every martial art.
I tried to get myself patented.
You know.
But they told me I couldn't patent it.
Right.
They told me only I can do was to put it in a book or videotape it and copyright it. But you know, I did one better. I went and got Vita Sana as a registered trademark. So now I'm the only black man to have a registered trademark for a martial arts system. That's called Vita Sana, African Martial Arts.
Right, and my point is, it's the values and principles by which you apply. If you go to any martial arts system in the world, say, hey man, y'all got this technique? What technique? Punch to the face. Oh yeah, everybody got that.
Everybody
now,
got
if I punch you this way, is this one style? If I punch you that way, is it another style? It's the values and principles for why you punch this person in the face.
Yes.
Because if you punch them in the face to free people, then that's what it is. Then it's Vita.
I'm gonna tell you, it hurts more too.
Then it's Karibu Kupamana. It's Vita Sana Teki and Gumi, because the values and principles for which I punched you in your face related to defending my nation or freeing my people.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of history that goes not only between me and you, but throughout the community in Philadelphia of African martial artists. Because a lot of them didn't get to do tournaments. They didn't go to do what maybe you and I might have done, or got to know the martial arts community. They just were low-key people. They were dangerous low-key people.
Well, and again, one of the things for you as well as with the African Institute of Martial Arts, man, we used to do a lot of street demonstrations and stuff like that, man. I remember years ago, a brother came and said, man, I saw you do this demonstration in the street up on Columbia Avenue. I was like, man, he remembered that from all those years. I remember traveling up to the East with the African People's Party, putting on demonstration where Pharaoh Sanders was playing.
Yeah.
We was the entertainment. I mean, between the what they call the intermission, we came out doing the dip with Pharaoh Sanders, brother.
Yes.
I really believe to this day on the Creator has a master plan, because we all start saying with Pharaoh said, yeah. We all in that.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Know, we was right there on the stage, you know. So I said, man, I always tell my daughter, I said, yeah, I recorded a record before with Pharaoh Sanders, you know. But that's a lot of what we did. Street demonstrations, supporting different African events, putting a cultural aspect to the martial arts. And I truly believe, man, that influenced a lot of people where they did not have to be, quote unquote, deculturalized or to learn another culture in order to learn martial arts or to learn how to defend themselves. So I think having that as a go-to, which I think it allowed a lot of people to say, well, I don't want to say Chagi. I want to say what I want to say in Swahili.
Yes.
You know, but front kick is front kick.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say Chagi or you say or you say it in Swahili.
Yeah, Mbele de Kemo.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh man. So I mean, I think that was an outlet, man. Absolutely.
And it's going to be always an outlet for myself because it got me where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm.
It saved my life. It propelled me to the future. I can still see a future going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't for my martial arts, I would have been gone. I would have been out of here through the illnesses and the other things that took place in my life. If I wasn't a strong individual, mentally and physically, I wouldn't be here today to sit across from you and be honored to sit here across from you and just to know what you have done. And the community loves you just like I love you. The martial arts community really, truly, truly loves you. And I want to say that also for what you have done. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was looking at Facebook, and this was like it wasn't too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Young Tiger, man, Rodney Knowles. He said, listen, man, if it wasn't for Mwanzo, I'd been locked up dead or in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And those are kind of things, man, that the martial arts, even in traditional martial arts schools,
Right.
people say, you develop a friend in the school, y'all become walking buddies, y'all got each other's back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to accept stuff from, give me your lunch money, give me your movie money, because that used to go on in Philly all the time.
Absolutely.
Man, if I find some money on you, you know the play.
Man.
You know, in martial art, being able to, quote unquote, hold your hands was imperative.
It was the most important thing in my young life for me standing 5'4", being maybe weighing 140 pounds at that given point in time, where everybody just used you like you were just nothing and just wanted to run over you.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
It was predators
Giant
and
things
victims.
come in
until
small
which
packages.
one you gonna be? You gonna be a predator? You gonna be a victim?
I
that's how it
love
was.
using that terminology.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. Because I am a predator.
Hey, look, I'll be one. I use with my grandkids now. I said, listen, man, you can't be a vulture, man. You can't wait for something to die. You gotta be a hawk. You got to go out and kill something.
You gotta go get it.
You
gotta be able to go get it.
You're gonna eat.
Absolutely.
You got to go out and kill something. You can't sit there and wait for somebody to die.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think about the politics in martial arts then and now?
But because, and this is one of my failures, because I see martial arts as a tool and not a business,
Mm-hmm.
and it allows me to be a lot more generous in terms of what I want to give, without having to worry about how I get food on my plate.
Yeah.
You know, it allows me to certainly draw up some of my own rules. I think if we train kids, I think Master Paul Chin would agree that if we train kids like we got trained, they'd have child protective services down.
Oh, no, we could not operate our school
Right.
without being in jail right now for abuse.
Yeah.
The
So,
training that we gave those young folks back in the day.
so
Absolutely.
and my point to it, as far as the politics goes, is that I can't fault in this world of business a person who needs it because it has a twofold.
Yes.
So you have to compromise something. So you may have to compromise the extremities of what you can teach or do. Because when we was coming, I'll tell you, when in my first martial arts class, I was like 13, 14. I was the youngest. Everybody else was a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
There wasn't no kid classes. You know what I mean? No, I had to rumble with the grown dudes.
Yeah.
You know, I walked in with Sensei Louis Rabon, and all the cats was men. I looked around, hey, there wasn't no kids in there. Me and another guy named Jai. And I think he was 15.
Yeah.
So you can't, we can take that. But today, man, did Shakespeare say it? First we got to kill all the lawyers? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. So from the politics of that, and then too the politics of publication and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't see. I know a lot of martial artists who never competed, never wrote a book, none.
Yeah.
Man who literally mopped the floor with you behind.
Absolutely.
You know,
I have a lot of those warriors inside my organization
Yeah.
because nobody knows them and they ain't got no name,
Mhm.
but the reputation that precedes them, they're just as great as those who do have a title or those who do have rank inside of each side. They're just the silent warriors,
Yeah.
and they are incredible. They are definitely incredible.
Now I'll tell you one of the things that I challenge about martial arts today is it's the belt system. Because you know, we only have 4 belts. The African Institute of Martial Arts only have 4 belts.
Mm-hmm.
You have a green belt, red belt, a black belt, and a red, black, and green
Red,
belt.
black, and
That's
green.
it. So if I put a green belt, oh man, you can't. No, this is our lowest belt. But you can't compete with this in white belt division. Oh, he just joined the school 3 weeks ago. So I said, okay, to avoid that, I said, all right, fine. In order to appease the martial art community, that's okay. We'll come back when he's a green belt.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he gets to what you perceive to be a green belt, he's probably going to be able to fight brown belt.
Yeah.
Brown belt division. You know, so that's one of the things, man. But I understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm not that critical of it. It's just what I perceive to be the belt rankings today, because you may have 85 belts, man. You
Yeah.
have 5 or 6 belts and this and that. And then orange in one system and blue in another system. So
Yeah, well, that's just money talk.
well, that's part of my point.
Because when you start getting white with a yellow and white with a red or white with this, and then everybody's trying to make more money, you need to go to the next level. So they just start adding all these other ranks and all these other colors in there.
Yeah,
But, you know, they don't produce quality fighters.
You know, I'm gonna bring up a point, man. I first of all, let me say this. I feel blessed to be in a country where martial arts can be used as a sport. Because if I let's say if we lived in Somalia or Beirut or something like that, we may have to come out and do 2 just to go get a guy on the water. We may have to have two to death fights before you even get there.
to get to.
You know, so I love the fact that we live in a country where martial arts can be used as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now, and my point to this soliloquy is that this is the beautiful thing that the Master Paul Chin does here, man. When I look on and I see these kids in here, I love that. You know, I love when you can even have something called karate mound.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah, I grew up in soccer, now I grew up in martial arts. You know, all that's good. I contend that there's nothing bad in martial arts except for a few bad people.
Yeah.
You know, I never challenge, I won't challenge people who do martial arts and never fight. That's fine. Because I may fight martial arts and never do anything else. You know, you remember I had all the action weapons, I gave them to you. Because I was like, hey, you know what? Bow staff is good, sword is good. Can't do that on the subway, man. You know, so I just kind of concentrated and narrowed it down to a few weapons. And it's funny because I took a picture of the weapons and I said, oh, I don't really have a lot of weapons.
Not anymore.
You know, and so when I train now, it's usually with my stick, my single edge knife, or my machete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's it. I mean, I do have a bow staff or wafanyakazi as we call it. You know, but most of the time my training now, aside from being in close, it's my teammate, my single edge knife, my kisu, or my inkono fimbo, my hand stick, or of course my double edged karambit switch. So it's very limited to a very practical and series of weapons, man. I don't have a 3-section staff anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have a samurai sword anymore. You know, it's down to those practical things that I want to share with people when they ask me.
Yeah, and I just love weapons from A to Z anyway. Whether it's an edge weapon, stick weapon, or bladed weapon, or you know, to all the way up until the ultimate weapons
Right.
that come out of our minds. I'm not even gonna get into the conversation of that because it just gets too far out there. But yes, most definitely.
And you know, another thing that we do at the African Institute of Martial Arts that I'm proud to say, I took a photo to submit to the archives of the Philadelphia Historic Martial Arts Society, and then my weapons I put my firearms.
Yeah.
You know, because
Definitely.
again, now you know, at the African Institute of Martial Arts, we teach a course called Responsible Firearms Ownership. No, this ain't martial arts. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
It
this
is
on
martial
another
arts.
level, and for a lot of folks don't understand the
You can't challenge you. The single edge knife, number one. Everybody should have an offensive and defensive working of the single edge knife, for the simple reason that it's the most valuable weapon on earth. You can't go into a dwelling on earth
and
and not find one.
Yeah. Not find one.
You know, everybody's home has at least 10 single edge knives. So that's the practicality of the African Institute of Martial Arts. All right, the most available weapon. I guess I better know how to use that. You know, offensive and defensive use of the single edge knife, because they're everywhere. And then to a stick, you can almost get a stick of anything. Mop stick, bang, now I got 2 thimbles. Let's go. So it was based on that kind of practicality when it comes to the weapons.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the firearms, which I think is essential. I think that we live in a society, in America, the Second Amendment allows us, law-abiding citizens, to have firearms. Now, when we teach at the African Institute of Martial Arts, responsible firearms ownership, first thing out of my, can you legally obtain a firearm? Then we go from there.
Yes.
Because this is the key. And it's sad to say that the justice system in America being unfair to black people in general and black men in particular has made it impossible for a lot of black people to obtain
To get
firearms
one, to
legally
own one,
because of
and
some
to have
bull
one.
crap stop over nothing about nothing.
Absolutely.
You know, so and that's the problem with my nephew. You know, bull stop and arguing with the police. He gets a resisting arrest charge. He can't get a firearm. You know, and listen, on the left they say, oh, we gotta get rid of the firearms. On the right they say, oh, you come get my firearms, I'm gonna kill you. We all, most of us, somewhere in the middle. For me, my firearms, I had a permit to carry in Pennsylvania. I didn't redo it when I moved to Delaware.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't intend to carry a firearm. You know, to me that's the highest level of ownership. I think it actually makes you safer if your brain is on right. And you know, it's the other people, man, whose brain ain't on right where it gets all crazy, like we saw on January 6th. So aside from that, man, responsible firearm ownership, we teach defensive swimming, offensive swimming, offensive defense swimming, all that. And Quabi now, we used to train with this brother. He been, I gotta stop. Anyway, Quabi, comes down train with me other week when the weather's good. And I done told that brother, firearm, swimming, Wi-Fi, Nikazi, Kono football.
Right.
And he just said, Kiongozi, you coming in? Yeah, I'll meet you up at the place, man. So he's been very consistent, you know? And he's one of, I have several gun students, and these all are taught under the African Institute of Martial Arts. I don't know if you know, man, but check my channel. I have the 7 principles of a good shot on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I actually submitted it as a video to the Philadelphia Historic Martial Arts Society archives. The video is called 7 Principles of a Good Shot, and I will have laser, then I have a Fimbo, then I have a machete video up there. Just basic stuff. But I make that point about the Fimbo. I said, because I love to see other arts, man. Some of my brothers like this guy, I used to love to see him fight because he do some stuff that they, oh man, you can't do that. We gonna change the rules. You can't do that.
Change the rules.
It's like Will Chamberlain. You know what I mean? So when I see guys like Tayari Cassell perform, I love to see that. Now my point is, when I see Salim Muhammad, Tuhan, Najee Hassan from New York, cats move the stick so quick you can't even see.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even see it, but it's Rantan. At the African Institute of Martial Arts, our Fimbo is a blunt force trauma type tool or weapon. I'm not looking to go cut you with it. I'm looking to crack your collarbone and skull
come
your
right
head.
through you.
You know, so it's not very much a finesse.
Yeah.
So I just put the basic up there, the DAG, the directions, how it relates to the reduction
So
of the
that's the
symbol.
difference between African martial arts and other martial arts also. And it's where it comes from. Just like when you tell people about African martial arts, there ain't no such thing as African martial arts. When it started in Africa, what you mean ain't no such thing? Then you got to get into a big argument about.
I have that argument. I had that argument plenty. I had it
Folks.
in New Orleans, you know. And when I mentioned, say, wait a minute, what about Dambé? A art that originally started by wrapping your hands, sticking them in honey, then sticking them in glass. Say, okay, let's go. Whoa,
They
wait a
look
minute.
at you like, what you talking about?
Yeah, you know, or
Yeah.
in Nguni, in Nguni, right? Stick fighting art, or
The Tessa and everything
yeah.
else. All these other
And there's a
martial
long
arts.
stick I can't comes out of Egypt. So yeah, Senegalese wrestling. That stuff is brutal. You think you tough? Get into these cats, man.
Yeah,
So
but
you this
the
idea that there was
grappling
no,
and the punching and that is vicious.
yeah.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as African martial arts.
In our flavor, I would agree, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that when you add that urban African American flavor to it, then it becomes, because Basil, Malamu Basil made a antenna form. And back then, antennas could break off a car just like that. He had made a
I
form
ain't
with
gonna tell you, I got
antennas.
whipped with one.
Oh, me too.
Grabbed it real quick
Yeah.
and
Cut you all
Oh.
up, man. Man, I still got whelps on my
life experience got me where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not has been a smooth journey like most people have gone to. You know, I'm just like I said, I'm surprised I'm still here.
Sure.
You know, I'm sleeping on the steps one night and I opened up my eyes because somebody tapped me on the shoulder. And it's a double barrel shotgun looking in my face. And if it wasn't for somebody else who said, no, leave him alone, I might not have been here because they thought I was from another gang just hanging out. Why would I hang out in your neighborhood? I live down here. I haven't lived here long, but yeah. Experiences like that made me the man that I am today. And I don't play with nobody because life is too short.
Yeah, hey, look, well, I'm 72, you ain't far behind. The fact that we lived this long, man.
Yes.
To see all the things that we've seen, and I think having a political cultural martial foundation has been key for me.
Well,
'Cause
that's
it
what
gives
got
me
me.
ground.
That's what got me where I'm at today
Yeah.
because of the politicalness of the martial arts. Like I said, I didn't start off as a martial artist, but when I was around people from SNCC, RAM, the Black Panther Party, and some of the other groups that was out here, that was my calling because I needed them and they needed me, you know, because the political time at that given point in time, the climate was changing. You know, you had King walking down there, want to turn the other cheek, and then you had Malcolm saying, you
That
better
was
not
just a
turn the
huge
other
debate
cheek.
in the community at
You
the
know,
time.
yeah, and
Yeah.
which way do you go?
Well, I think, you know, not to veer too far off the martial arts, man, but having that theory, of course, you know, we were young and then we was in Malcolm's camp. It took me a while as I got older to understand how brave that is. You know, I can't imagine letting somebody go upside my head without blocking, parrying, countering, and recountering.
Absolutely.
I can't, you know, but to be able to sit there and say, you know, man, I love the neighbor. What?
Yeah, it still don't make sense to me, but
Yeah.
I understand the
But we never
philosophy
would,
behind that.
because you wouldn't have
Yeah.
advancements that I think we've had in America
Yeah.
had we taken a violent route. You know, I mean, even King himself, coming from a firearms perspective in 1956 after they bombed his house,
Yeah.
he applied for a firearms permit and they denied it. You know, so that too, and again, America is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it is a country of immigrants, and the sad part about immigrants to America is the group before thinks they should be the last. So they're going to challenge the group after that. Germans challenge the English challenge the Irish challenge the Italian challenge the Latinos. The only thing they wasn't challenged with us because we was already here.
Yeah.
And so then after the Civil, well after the Civil War, in the late 1800s, we migrated to the north, 6 million of us, to the west coast, to the middle coast, Chicago, Detroit, to the east coast, New York, Baltimore, Philly.
Yeah.
All that. So this is the fabric of America. And if we could, again, America is the greatest experiment in the history of humankind. There's never been this much diversity. We still live in relative peace. I mean, until this last election, people accepted the results of the election. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but America is a country of immigrants. They did it to the Chinese. They did it to the Latino. Every group who comes after the group before them, they know it's enough. Nobody else can come. The diversity of America is what makes it great.
That's what made America
what
it is.
And we all have equity here. Black folks got sweat equity. From can't see in the morning to can't see at night for 246 years. The law gets passed. The law, the Emancipation Proclamation gets passed, and then they make laws to circumvent that so we can't be killed, so we can't enjoy our citizenship. So and again, I'm saying sweat equity is ours. We are part of this American fiber. I think that we have more equity than any other group. So don't challenge us on our patriotism, because we are from 246 years of chattel slavery to 100 years when the law was changed that made us 100% citizens. They still didn't do it all the way up to 1975. I'll say 65 when the Voters' Rights Act. You never have to make a voting rights act for people who are already citizens. So legally, in my opinion, we haven't been able to treat it like full citizens and we could argue that with the unarmed police killings and all that, but up till 1975.
Absolutely. We have any questions from our host?
I was going to say, do you guys want to have any closing comments, and we'll wrap this one up?
No, it's just a pleasure just to sit here with my martial arts family. And my martial arts family is like this. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Not only did it start here in Philadelphia, it started and it's just worldwide right now. And just to go back and know this brother went back that far, it's just an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, we go way back, man. I said something on Facebook. I said, damn, me and John go all the way back to the 4th grade.
I saw that post.
He'd be 73 next month. I'll be 72 in June. We still boys. That's huge, man.
And that's another brother that trained with the Institute of African Martial Arts. Yes.
Yeah. So I only close the statement. I would like to say I'd like to thank Master Paul Chin for allowing us to come down
and utilize the space.
Utilize this space, man.
Yes.
This is like a foundation for a lot of things in martial art, man. And again, man, honored to sit here with you and chew it up a little bit, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'd like to thank you and our directive host for letting us use his space. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Cool.
My man.
45 minutes later.
Oh, man.
You guys did great.
It's all more content because not enough content.
You can always cut.
Oh yeah.
Chopped up so much.
I just sat there.